Listen, I know I primarily make content on The Walking Dead, but I'm a fan of all things creepy, and I think that actually stems from my love of Ghost-type Pokémon as a kid. Now, you may be thinking, Pokémon is a weird thing to branch out to, but hear me out. These guys have some seriously grim stories behind them, and that's what I'm here for today. That sweet, sweet Ghost-type lore. AKA, I'm gonna be yapping about Ghost Dex entries for the next few minutes. But this is going to be a pretty casual video, so I'm not going to be going through the entire history of every Pokemon featured, just highlighting the entries I found interesting, but if you guys end up enjoying this, maybe I'll make a follow-up. You see, if you're unfamiliar with the Pokemon franchise, every player is given a Pokédex at the beginning of the game that basically acts as a catalog for all the different monsters you encounter. But if you catch one of these creatures in a Pokeball, you'll be given a little description of the Pokemon that changes between certain games. And although this franchise is mostly made for kids, Game Freak decided to put some really dark stuff in some of them, for fun, I guess. Take Haunter, for example, a member of the first line of Ghost-type Pokemon to ever be in the franchise. Its tongue is made of gas. If licked, its victims start shaking constantly until death eventually comes. What's that? You don't think that's very creepy, you say? Okay, well, what about its evolution, Gengar? Should you feel yourself attacked by a sudden chill, it is evidence of an approaching Gengar. There is no escaping it. Give up. Yeah, I don't think I'd be going on any night walks with this thing lurking around. One of my favorites is Bannet, who is a doll that was possessed by a spirit that was thrown away by the child who owned it. That's actually pretty sad, you may think. Well, its Diamond and Pearl entries paint the picture of a creature hell-bent on revenge against said child that threw it out. And if it Mega Evolves, its vindictiveness only increases, so that's really awesome for that kid. Now that I think about it, there are quite a few ghost Pokemon that actually harm kids, according to the Pokédex. Take Drifloon, for example. Stories go that it grabs the hands of small children and drags them away to the afterlife. It dislikes heavy children. And that's only the beginning. Kids do not have it good in the Pokemon universe. Which is funny considering adults let you run off alone into this world at the age of 10. Duskull just absolutely loves tormenting children for fun, and adores the sound of their cries, specifically bad kids, and is said to spirit them away if they misbehave. Whatever that means exactly. Gourgeist is one of the few Pokemon that its size varies in-game, and the largest ones are said to mimic adults to take children's souls. Although the Pokédex uses the phrasing, leads them to the afterlife, so maybe it's not as sinister as initially believed. Some kids straight up become ghost Pokemon themselves if they're not careful, like Phantump, that's said to be spirits of children who wandered into a forest and lost their lives, possessing a stump as they clung onto the physical world. What do these spirit children now do while wandering the forest? Well, with a voice like a human child's, it cries out to lure adults deep into the woods, getting them lost among the trees. You could probably interpret that as the Phantump luring in the adults to steal their soul or something, but according to the Scarlet and Violet Dex entries, it's actually wandering around the forest looking for friends. Some Ghost-type Pokemon may appear cute or elegant, but that's often not the case once you get close, such as with Frostlass, the soul of a woman lost on a snowy mountain that possessed an icicle. The food it most relishes is the souls of men. However, if it finds a human or Pokemon it likes, it freezes them and takes them to its den, where they become decorations. So if you encounter this thing in the wild, you'll either become its food or furniture.
Jesus Christ.
Jellicent appears as a beautiful jellyfish-like creature, but get too close, it'll drag you down into the sea like many sailors before. And the Sensu-style Oricorio is known for using its refined dancing to place curses on those who let their guard down by summoning the spirits of the dead, ending their lives in time. It's clear most of these ghosts are looking to cause harm, but that is not the case for all, such as Mimikyu, an extremely lonely but terrifying Pokemon that uses an old worn-down Pikachu costume to conceal its horrifying appearance. All it wants to do is make a friend, so its thought was to make itself look like the most beloved Pokemon, but those who lay their eyes on what's underneath die of shock due to its true form. This poor guy spends hours in front of the mirror trying to make the head on its costume stand up straight, but when it fails, it cries internally, believing nothing will ever truly love it. Ghost types can really be anything: a bird, a jellyfish, or a wandering specter, but as we know, they can also take possession of inanimate objects if the circumstances are right. Take Lampin, for example. A spirit in control of a lamp that hangs out around hospitals as it uses the souls of the dead as a fuel source. Another one of my favorites is Sinister, a spirit residing in a teacup that drains the life energy to those who are foolish enough to drink it. Or like Honedge, the soul of a warrior who passed and possessed their weapon in the afterlife. There's actually a pretty long list of ghosts that were once human, one of which being the Gengar line, which a better scriptwriter would have included in their section. But as we've seen many times within the games, sometimes these souls remain in their original form, trapped in limbo. Take for example in Generation 4, where the ghost of a child and butler can be seen walking the abandoned rooms in the haunted old chateau. Or in X and Y, when entering a random building in Lumio City, an event will trigger where the lights will begin to flicker, before a hex maniac appears behind you, telling the player, "No, you're not the one," before gliding off screen with no walking animation, never to be seen again. There are many other examples of human spirits appearing in the Pokemon world, but what do these encounters really mean? Well, nobody actually knows, but perhaps these souls aren't trapped at all. Instead, simply waiting in purgatory until the opportunity comes to take on another form once again. The last ghost type I wanted to discuss today was the legend itself, Giratina, a spectral dragon banished for its violence to an empty realm known as the Distortion World by Arceus, the creator of the universe itself. This thing essentially acts as the devil of the Pokemon world, and on some occasions appears only as a sinister shadow, becoming all the more powerful when entering its origin form, which is awesome, earning it the final entry in this video. I absolutely love the lore behind Ghost-type Pokemon and the sinister nature around them, but the dark entries don't end here. There are many other ghost types with disturbing entries I didn't go over in this video, so if you'd like to see a part 2, let me know in the comments down below. Or maybe you just want me to stick to zombies. Either way, I just wanted to try something new for today's video, and I think if you guys enjoy it, I could try to look into some of the other disturbing entries for other types as well. But that's gonna do it for me today, folks. Thanks so much for watching.